Have you ever pondered the reasons behind those days when it feels like you're unable to move forward? Fortunately, you're not alone. In this video, we'll look at 10 habits that weaken you when life becomes tough. Applying Stoic ideas and the ancient knowledge of figures like Marcus Aurelius will help us figure out how to break these habits. Never forget that these habits are more than just the things we do. They are also the way we think, and they have the power to change our lives on a profound level. Join me as I set out on a path to become more stoic and less pathetic in my day-to-day interactions with the world. Before we get to that, though, I was hoping you wouldn't mind if I asked you to subscribe to our channel and give it a like. It would mean a lot to us. We can start now. 1. The absence of self-control. It's like a subtle whisper to take the easy way out, put off working till later, and sacrifice bigger rewards for short-term gratification. This carelessness, which seems innocent at the time, might end up being a huge obstacle to our success and happiness. The virtue of restraint, or self-control, is taught to us by Stoics, who saw discipline as an attitude rather than a set of rules to follow. According to the Stoics, self-control is the cornerstone of development and success in life. Recovering from a lack of self-control requires a steady progression of baby steps. Choosing the more difficult pathways that are in line with your core ideals is what it's all about. Focusing on what we can control, our actions, our responses, and our dedication, is what Stoicism teaches. While we may not be able to influence every facet of our lives, we do have complete control over how we react to the things that happen to us. 2. Fearing failure. Whenever we set our sights on achieving our goals, our fears of failing tend to steal the show. A paralyzing whisper, this fear prevents us from venturing out of our comfort zones and doing new things. It hinders our potential by encouraging a growth-avoidant mindset. Stoicism helps us to see failure in a new light, thanks to its wealth of practical wisdom. For Stoics, setbacks are inevitable and not indicative of a lack of character. They thought challenges were opportunities for growth, and they believed in meeting problems directly and drawing lessons from every outcome. Changing our mindset to view every effort, successful or not, as an important step on the road to success is essential if we want to conquer our fear of failing. Instead than telling us to push our fears to the side, Stoicism teaches us to make sense of them, learn from them, and eventually triumph over them. 3. Ignoring own needs. The trap of putting one's own needs last is all too easy. Like water slowly wearing away at stone, this practice erodes our well-being. Putting other people's needs before our own is a common tendency. Weakness in being our best selves is the ultimate result of this neglect, even if it originates from a position of devotion or generosity. The Stoics saw self-care not as a treat, but as an essential discipline for maintaining harmony in one's life. They believed that a healthy, robust self is necessary for a good and fruitful existence, and thus they pushed for care of the mind and body. Stoicism tells us that taking care of ourselves is not selfish but necessary. It's a way to honor our inherent worth and the good that we can bring to the world. Knowing and meeting our own needs requires the same level of commitment as we give to other parts of our lives. Integrating self-care into our everyday philosophy is encouraged by Stoicism, which emphasizes its value. 4. Always trying to find comfort. A lack of development and progress might result from the tendency of continually seeking comfort. Remaining in our comfort zones may make us feel secure, but they also prevent us from reaching our full potential and experiencing life to the fullest. Stoicism opposes this comfort-seeking propensity by advocating the concept of willingly experiencing discomfort, realizing that getting out of our comfort zones and confronting challenges are common ways to progress. For the Stoics, the key to developing resilience and character was learning to accept and even thrive in the face of adversity. You need to change your perspective if you want to break the habit of always looking for comfort. It's about being brave enough to enter into uncomfortable situations, knowing that they can change you. Stoicism promotes a balanced approach that seeks growth and learning even in uncomfortable situations, rather than advocating needless suffering. 5. Hurried decision-making. Making rash choices is like trying to steer a ship without a compass. It usually takes us into dangerous, uncharted waters. This tendency, fueled by temporary feelings or wants, could lead us to make decisions that are at odds with our principles and objectives for the future. Stoicism encourages deliberate consideration and making decisions in accordance with our fundamental ideals, which is in sharp contrast to acting on impulse. The Stoics argued that we should take stock of our actions and make sure they are based on reason rather than fleeting emotions. Developing self-awareness and tolerance can help one overcome impulsiveness. In addition to warning us against acting on impulse, Stoicism gives us the skills to make decisions that have more weight and significance. When we apply Stoic principles to our decision-making, we not only make better choices, but we also feel more in charge and at peace with ourselves. 6. No specific objective. Having this habit can make you feel like you're not making any progress because your efforts are all over the place. We run the risk of being frustrated and stuck if we don't set clear goals to help us reach our full potential. It changes everything when you realize how important it is to have a specific objective. Finding direction, purpose, and clarity in life's journey is what it offers. Having well-defined objectives helps us focus our efforts and make informed decisions, which in turn improves our chances of success. Setting tangible objectives is an empowering experience in and of itself. Aligning one's aspirations with one's personal values requires introspection. It's a method to live a life that is more focused and purposeful, and not only to achieve specific goals. 7. Thinking that you're not good enough. One common pitfall is comparing oneself to others. A flawed sense of self-worth, resentment, and jealousy can spiral out of control if this behavior persists. When we compare ourselves to others, we tend to forget that each of our lives is special and that we have come a long way. Stoicism provides a stable viewpoint on this. Focusing on one's own path and making progress apart from others was important to Stoic philosophy. Their teachings emphasized the importance of valuing ourselves and our achievements independently, rather than comparing ourselves to others. Being Stoic helps us concentrate on developing ourselves and reaching our goals, recognizing and appreciating each of our personal journeys, apart from any external standards. One must be self-aware and change their attention if they want to overcome the habit of comparing themselves to others. Recognizing that everyone's journey is unique and respecting our distinct talents is the key. 8. Not establishing limits at all. As we give in to other people's demands and desires, we risk exhaustion, overcommitment, and resentment. If we don't guard our health by establishing limits, harmful people and things can sneak in uninvited. Having firm limits on one's own behavior is something that Stoicism strongly promotes. The Stoics taught that one should be careful with their thoughts and their time, making sure one's priorities and ideals are not compromised by outside pressures. Rather than seeing limits as impediments to others, they viewed them as a means of self-respect and integrity maintenance. Being self-aware and having the fortitude to stick to your boundaries are two things you need. It requires being aware of and able to articulate our limitations to those around us. Boundaries are not just encouraged, but seen as essential to a virtuous and satisfying existence according to Stoicism. 9. Interested in receiving attention of others. A subtle addiction, the need to constantly be the center of attention, can engulf us. Pursuing this goal is like pursuing a mirage. It's never going to materialize, because we learn to adapt our identity and principles to suit the needs of other people. This relentless pursuit might cause us to lose touch with who we really are. The virtues of self-sufficiency and seeking approval from within are taught in Stoicism, which provides a new angle on this practice. Being authentic oneself apart from the transient approval and gaze of others was a major tenet of Stoic philosophy. They pushed for people to embrace themselves as they are and live their lives in accordance with their principles. A change in perspective towards self-improvement and independence, as well as an examination of one's own habits, is necessary to break the habit of always seeking validation. It's about recognizing our own value without seeking validation from others. Stoicism teaches us to live more authentically and with greater self-power, rather than only discouraging us from seeking attention. 10. Neglecting one's physical well-being. Due to the busy nature of modern life, many people put their physical well-being last on the list of priorities. This routine is similar to a spreading mist, because our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being are all interconnected. Even a little mist can have a devastating effect on our energy and quality of life. Maintaining a healthy body is an important part of living a Stoic life. A healthy body is the foundation of a healthy mind, as the Stoics knew. They believed that a balanced diet, frequent exercise, and rest were essential to a person's virtue and resilience, and they pushed for these practices to be more moderate. Make deliberate decisions about what you eat, how much exercise you get, and how much sleep to break the pattern of ignoring your physical health. As a means of honoring ourselves and bettering ourselves, it entails making physical care a regular part of our lives. According to Stoicism, a healthy body is not just important but necessary for a full and meaningful existence. In conclusion, a person's development and health might be stunted by falling into any of these 10 habits. A timeless path to overcome these obstacles is Stoicism, which emphasizes mindfulness, self-awareness, and living in line with our actual nature. By adopting Stoic practices, we can turn these routines into chances for growth, which will make our lives better and more resilient. Acquiring knowledge is only half the battle. The other half is being open to change and doing something about it. Living a life of more purpose, balance, and inner strength is possible when we put these Stoic ideas into practice.